Good evening. Welcome to Injustice Investigations. I'm your host, Al Scott. As always, we thank you all for your continued support for the show. Welcome, welcome, and welcome. Sometimes I'm nice. I think I know who that is. Good evening. Welcome. Lady Falcon 2020. Good evening to you as well. Faye is in the house. Tammy always 100. Never fake. Where else would she be? But right here with me. Faye is in the house as always. Love you big time. Appreciate your genuine support. I see Dana Hudson is here again. We love you big time. And Tracy Taylor and Angela Yvette is here also. I trust and hope that you all have had a great day, peaceful day. Uh, Mine was okay. Can't complain. Cannot complain. But before we get started, again, the coronavirus once again is taking another turn. It is on the rise, and this time it is coming with vengeance. So it is extremely important that we continue to practice social distancing. And listen, if you don't have any signs to back you up that wearing a mask is safe, I suggest you listen to science and wear the mask. Wear the mask. This is the new norm. This is the new norm. It's just as simple as that. If you love yourself and you love your family, anytime you go out, please wear a face mask. All right, tonight, we're going to talk about a young man who is currently in prison. He is serving a 300-year prison sentence. 300 years. 300 years. He has already done 20 of the 300. The other day, a friend of mine, Melissa, called and asked us to look into this. And 2 days prior to Melissa calling, we had been turning people away because we can't take any more cases right now. I don't have enough people to help me. But when Melissa called and when she said 300, well, we have to look into this. It is a very baffling, disturbing case, and you're going to find out that tonight. I have a close family friend that is going to share the story tonight. His name is Mr. Watkins, and some of the things he's going to say tonight might surprise you when it comes to our justice system. But one thing we must say, I know you've heard over and over again that our criminal justice system is broken. The criminal justice system is not broken. It was designed the way it is. There's two systems, one for whites and one for blacks. And any system that has not been created for you cannot be felling you. Mr. Watkins.
How you doing, brothers?
I'm doing, brother. It's good to see you there. I know we spoke on the phone a few times there, but now we finally get to see each other. Appreciate you coming on to the show tonight, brother.
Well, first of all, man, I want to thank you for all the hard work and dedication that you do towards the cause for wrongful conviction, and I appreciate you having me on the show.
Indeed, you are welcome. I gratefully appreciate you, bro. I do appreciate that. This is baffling. This is baffling, the story. It's an unbelievable story, but it is a true story, right?
Exactly.
Okay, before we get into the story, I want you to tell us just a little bit about yourself and how you got involved into this case with Mr.
Okay.
Christopher.
All right, I'm Markael Watkins from Gary, Indiana, born and raised. Everybody know Gary for the Jacksons and Richard Gordon Hatchard, the first black mayor in the country. So, I always like to throw that out, so I'm a steel worker, been working in the mill for 24 years. And so I got into politics, and I do a lot with politics, campaign manager for State Senator Eddie Milton, campaign manager for Reagan Hatchard, State Representative Reagan Hatchard, and, help with a lot of different campaigns and political and, community activist things that I do. So the family came to me about this case in February. They wanted me to come in and come to the rulings that they were doing in Crown Point, Indiana, about the case. And I remember it vaguely. I remembered it, and I was like, okay, I'll go. So I went the first day, and I just like it blew my mind. I was like, this is unbelievable. So it was 3 days. So I went all 3 days, and I got uh, State Representative Reagan Hatcher to go the second day, and she couldn't believe it. So when she heard the evidence and everything against Chris, it was just like, we got to do something about this. And that's when I just started getting involved and just I got the Gary NAACP involved, President Mays. They in support of doing whatever they can to help. Like I said, State Representative Reagan Hatcher, Senator Eddie Milton. I've been back and forth conversations with Jonathan Jackson with Rainbow Push,
Okay.
ready to get a letter together to show their support. So we got a lot of support behind it since over the last 3 months, and it's just baffling to just understand that the system could actually give someone 300 years with little or no evidence.
Exactly. I want you to take us back to February of 2000 because you are good friends with the family. 5 people in one night ends up dead, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, it was 5 people one night. And,
okay, go ahead.
3 of the people were murdered in a house, and the other 2 were murdered by the baseball field. So um, the witness that they had was a 12-year-old kid that said that they heard Christopher's voice and said it was a guy with a gap in his teeth, between the tooth. But that wasn't Chris. He don't have a gap in between his tooth.
Okay.
And so that was their witness. And so he was sentenced to 300 years. And what happened was IUPUI wrongful conviction clinic got involved, Professor Watson, and that's when they did the DNA evidence and really started digging into the case. Because after the police had got him to say he did it, the case was pretty close. They didn't let him talk to a lawyer. He couldn't get anything to drink or eat for over 9 hours. They pretty much forced him into signing, saying that he did it. So, and that's what happened with that part of the case.
Okay, so we know in 2000 that there was some evidence at the scene of the crime, right?
Yes.
Okay, and the evidence that I'm gonna speak on tonight is the DNA. But now, correct me if I'm wrong. The DNA was there in 2000 when the crime occurred, right?
Yes.
Okay. Was that DNA ever tested and compared to someone?
From my understanding, no. I don't believe the DNA was tested until IUPUI wrongful conviction clinic and Professor Watson got involved, and that's when they did the DNA testing, and it came back negative for Chris Bynum.
Okay. Hey, yeah, good to have you. I see you. Now, it wasn't tested in 2000. They only did the DNA in 2016. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now, the little boy, 12 years old, was inside the home when his mother was killed. Was there 5 people, right?
It was 3 people in the house when that happened. When that incident happened, it was 3 people in the house that was murdered. The other 2 people were murdered away from the house somewhere by the baseball field. So,
okay. Now, the 12-year-old boy said the individual was the gentleman we're speaking about tonight, Christopher, correct?
Yes.
Now, how did he say he knew for sure that it was Christopher that was in the house and killed the people?
From what
Did he?
from what I'm hearing, he heard his voice. I don't believe he said he seen him, but he heard his voice, and that was what he said. I don't believe that. And some of the details, some of this will be better to answer by like Professor Watson, because
Okay.
they have all the details. But from far as I know from going to the hearings, it was just he heard his voice.
Okay. Okay. So that's how Christopher gets tied to this crime.
Yes.
All right. Now, the 12-year-old later recanted his statement.
Yes. He said that the police had told him to say that.
Now, with him saying it was Christopher again, what did he say about Christopher that was somewhat distinct, but then we later find out it couldn't have been him?
Well, they were saying it was Chris. It was Chris with a gap in his tooth. So Christopher Bynum doesn't have a gap in his tooth between his teeth. So that right there was like it had to be the wrong Chris.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Now, Christopher is arrested. He's tried and convicted and sentenced to 300 years in prison.
Yes.
Okay. There was an individual at that time that was going around killing women. And he made a statement to someone that he may have been responsible for those murders.
Are you talking about the video that they had with the guy confessing, or is that the one you're talking
No,
about?
no, that's the other suspect's mother. This one
Okay.
is about who had been going around the city, I think, killing women.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. He had made a statement to somebody that about that. Yes,
And
and
his statement was, go
pretty
ahead.
much in the neighborhood, everybody kind of knew who this person was, but nobody would come forward and say anything.
Why do you think that was?
A lot of times, in our communities, people be scared of somebody retaliating and coming back uh, and doing something to them or their family. And that was one of the things when Chris was testifying on he said that he was afraid that if he was to tell who it was, that they would do something to his kids or his family.
Okay. Um, okay. So, for the sake of time, let's get to the confession of Christopher. But there were two people that confessed to this crime, right?
Yes.
Okay, so who is the other guy?
Well, they got a video of a guy or audio saying that he confessed to the murders of that Chris was being blamed for. So, and that was something that IUPUI, Wrongful Conviction Clinic, have got. I believe someone sent it to them, and that's how they got involved with it.
Okay, now is this the same individual? Trying to find his name. His mother watched a tape or recording, right?
Yes, of her son confessing to the murders.
Okay, is his name is Matthews?
Yes.
Okay,
So, and I guess shortly after the confession, he ended up being murdered as well.
Does that strike you as somewhat strange?
Yeah, very strange. Like, someone confesses, then they end up murdered. It's very strange.
Matthew's mother said after she watched the tape and her son was confessing, I guess because she knew her son and looking at his demeanor, she said she believed that he was being forced to make that statement.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, she said that. So, whoever, I guess, I don't know. I can't understand that when someone forced him to do it and then he ended up murdered, which is another sad situation in the whole case with this.
And there's a lot of strange things in this case, and you've spoke a couple of times. One is that her son signed a confession, right?
Yes, and she said it was his signature.
Okay, it was his signature, but the statement that was written out was not in her son's handwriting.
Yes.
So isn't this the exact same thing that's going on with Christopher that's locked up for 300 years?
Yeah, with the confession that he made, and exactly, it's like he was forced to sign the confession itself.
So the written statement was not his handwriting.
For Christopher.
Yeah, Christopher. That wasn't his handwriting in that statement.
I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I know the signature was, but I'm not sure if the writing was.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, someone said that it was his signature, but it wasn't his handwriting.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Now, there was some DNA on one of the victims, and I think this may have been the one at the house. I'm not for sure. So correct me if I'm wrong. There was some DNA at that time. The DNA that was found in someone's mouth.
Exactly. And the DNA, it wasn't DNA from Christopher Bynum. It was actually DNA from a Gary police officer's son.
Okay.
Which was,
okay, let's take this quick question. Good evening, caller. You're live on air. What's your name and what state are you calling from tonight? Hello? Okay, just call us back when your mouth works. Okay. Now, the semen that was found belongs to a gentleman by the name of Joseph Tidwell Jr.
Yes.
So what do you know about this guy?
Well, far as he's the son of a Gary police officer. So his dad was a Gary police officer for years, retired. His dad has passed now, but yeah, that was one of the things they were saying why it was covered up, because of that situation.
So how many times did the police speak with him?
With Christopher?
No, with Joseph Tidwell Jr., the policeman's son.
None that I don't believe they ever spoke to him at all about this case.
Okay.
Because the DNA evidence didn't come up to 16 years later.
16 years. So you have a lot of powerful people behind you all trying to get him out. Because what I've seen and what others have seen and said, the man that's in prison doing 300 years is 100% innocent.
Yes, exactly, and that's what a lot of people are really baffled about. Like, to see somebody that's going through something like this, and that so much evidence that's showing that he didn't do it, and it's just like it's just a painful thought to know that you serving 20 years of your life for something that you didn't do. And we talked, and I always wanted to, I always like to say, a lot of people probably think, hey, we don't care about the victims and what happened to the victims. We just want Chris out, and that's the least thing that I want people to think. We are compassionate about any loss of life, and we pray for the family, and we pray that healing can be on both sides. But we definitely do not want anybody to think that we don't care about the families in the way that they feeling about the loved ones they lost. Because anytime it's a loss, it's a hurtful thing. So we care
Exactly.
about that as well. We just want to make sure the right person is being charged for the crime.
Exactly. Good evening, caller. You live on air. What's your name and what state are you calling from tonight?
Hey.
Uh, there's some feedback coming up from your end.
Hang on. Hey, it's Yvette calling from Shreveport. Can you hear me?
Yes, Yvette from Shreveport. How are you, Yvette from Shreveport?
I'm good. Hey, Mr. Watkins, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. And yourself?
I'm good. So I was doing a little bit of research on this, but I have a question. You
Okay.
were talking the other guy that confessed. Well, I'm reading where they had that on tape or video.
Yes,
And
they do.
he has a full-fledged statement. So I'm curious as to why that wasn't used. Because it's a whole confession.
Yeah, it's a confession. Yeah, he made a confession saying that he did it.
So why aren't they using that?
Well, I mean, they used it. They got it right now. And see, right now, they were the courts was should have made a ruling August 14th. This is the third time they continue to reschedule it. So they rescheduled the ruling again until October 23rd. They got all the evidence. They got everything. They got the DNA showing that Chris Bynum had no DNA on it. They got the confession tapes. They got the detective statements. They got all the evidence that Professor Watson and IUPUI wrongful conviction clinic brung towards them. And so they got everything. So we're in the process of just waiting on them to make a ruling, but we just trying to get any and everybody we can to know about this case, to put pressure on them to like, hey, we can't allow you to keep doing this to our brothers and sisters across the country.
Absolutely, because the whole story is just crazy.
Yeah, and that's why I'm so that's why I was happy to see that Mr. Scott was able to get us on as soon as he did. I know he's very busy, and I appreciate all the help Melissa is doing to help us
Yeah.
too. And we're just trying to do everything we can, not only for Chris, but any and everybody that we know that has been wrongfully convicted and charged of crimes that they didn't commit, because it's a big step that we have to do for our people, because we know so many people that's dealing with this same situation. Because I got involved 3-4 months ago, and I didn't got letters and inboxes, all kind of people saying they need help, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, I was just trying to help one person.
Right.
Well, I'm sure his family is forever indebted and grateful to you. I myself, just by, from hearing the story from Fonzo, and what I've read today, I too, I so appreciate what you're doing, and I just wish you well. I really do. I wish him well. I hate that it's come to this, but it's going to be fine. It may take a little time, but keep doing what you're doing.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you calling in, and I appreciate your support.
Oh, you're welcome. I'll just talk to you later. Love you.
All right, love you. Bye-bye. Good evening, caller. You live on air. What's your name and what state are you calling from tonight?
Hi, Mr. Scott. This is A.L. Smith, and I had one question
Yes, ma'am.
For the guest.
Okay.
Where is the gentleman whose semen was found on the victim, and is he still alive? Where is he?
Well, as far as I know, yes, he's still alive. I'm not sure exactly his location, but I'm not sure what the courts and law enforcement is doing with that. But they do have the information of who DNA it is and what they're doing in that terms. I'm not sure yet.
Okay, and when the case goes before the Supreme Court, I guess it is, will it be a complete exoneration, or will he be pleading to some other charge?
Well, that too, I'm not 100% if he'll be 100% exonerated from it, but he will be once they make the ruling. If they make the ruling to allow him to be free from this, I think he will be 100% exonerated.
Okay. All right, that's what I wanted to ask, Mr. Scott. Very interesting. So much for doing this.
Exactly. I appreciate you calling in there. And, it's a baffling case. It is.
Okay, I'm still watching. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome. Bye.
Thank you and appreciate your support.
Mr. Watkins, let me ask you something quickly. The statement from Christopher, right? You said, Mr. Watkins.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. The statement from Christopher, right?
Yes.
Okay. In the statement, some of what he said in a statement did not match the evidence. For one, the number of times one victim was shot didn't match up to the number that Christopher had put in his written statement.
Exactly. It was a lot of things like it was a lot like that in the statements. And when I was at the hearing listening to Christopher talk, he said that the police had wrote the statements out, and he just came in. He said one of the detectives came in and was like, seen a statement and said, "Hey, we can't use this one. We got to redo it. This don't make no sense." So they had actually did another one for him to sign, but a lot of it didn't match of what the way the victims were murdered.
So it's just corruption and lies all within this case.
Exactly. And that's the thing where I feel that the reason they're taking so long, because it's one of those situations like once this happens, it's gonna be a whole can of worms opened up.
Mm-hmm. Because one investigation often leads to another.
Exactly.
Now, what connections, if any, did Christopher have with each victim?
From what I'm understanding, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm not sure if he had any connection with any of them.
Wow.
It's just the whole thing. If I wish they could have recorded the 3 days of hearing and testimony. It was just unbelievable to sit in the courtroom and hear Professor Watson just ask the questions to the detectives, the lawyers, and different people from the community. It was just unbelievable to see the stuff. And for me, growing up in the same community, we all grew up in the same community. We all know the same people. So, after I got involved, I just started calling people that we grew up with, been knowing my whole life. And everybody, man, they knew Chris didn't do it. They named the guy who they said did it. I talked to police officers who own the force now that we grew up with and know, and the officers even said they know he didn't do it. There's several officers know it as well.
Exactly. Now, two of the victims, I think these were the two in the home, were sisters.
Yeah.
And so, how was each individual killed?
You said how?
Yes, sir. How were they killed?
I believe with by gunshots.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, when did the authorities go and arrest Christopher for this crime?
I'm not sure exactly how many days afterwards, but he was pretty much the only suspect, I believe, that they had. Uh,
So, you all are going back to court on the 31st.
well, October 23rd. October 23rd.
Okay, so what are we hoping happen that day?
That the courts will make a ruling to set Chris free. That's what we're hoping for.
But you won't be in the courtroom yourself this time, right?
No, they're gonna do it basically via, I guess, email, phone calls to the family and let everybody know that way. And I don't know if it's because of the coronavirus or why they're doing it like that, but that's exactly what they're gonna do. They're not gonna have us in the courtroom.
Okay, if you will, tell us about the online petition that you all have going.
Yeah, we got a online petition, and if you go to Brother Scott's page, you can see the petition is on there as well. We have been getting signatures. I started it a couple of months ago. We got close to 3,000 signatures from. Thank you. We got close to 3,000 signatures, and we still need people to sign the petition and share it and let everybody know. It's just giving a overview about what's going on, and then you can also go to freechrisbynum.com and you can see all the stuff from Professor Watson. And if you go, you can link once you go to Brother Scott page, or you can go to my page, any of my pages, Markael Watkins, Facebook, Markael Watkins, Instagram, Markael Watkins, Twitter. Everything is on there. And you can see everything, how to link to the petition, how to read all the articles from the newspaper, the letters of endorsements from State Senator Milton and Representative Reagan Hatcher, and soon to be having one from Rainbow Push and Jesse Jackson Sr.
Okay, now one of those, I think it's the petition. They can also donate to the cause, right?
Yeah, they'll donate to the cause, and it actually helps push the petition to more people to get more signatures. I did drop off 2,500 signatures from the petition. I dropped off 2,500 petitions to the court about 3 weeks ago, right before they were right before in August when they were gonna make the ruling, but they didn't make the ruling. So hopefully by October we can have close to 5,000, 6,000 petitions signed, and then I'll drop those off before the ruling is made.
Okay, people, listen. Your signatures are needed extremely bad. So he's told you where you can go to sign the petitions, to play a major role in an innocent man being released from prison. I mean, I just don't know how they came up with the number 300. You know, it's just out of my thinking. You know, 300.
From what I'm thinking, I guess they gave them 60 years for each person. That's what I'm thinking. They gave them 60 years for each person that was murdered.
That would have to be it. You know, that would have to be it. Now, a lot of people that called today and was going to watching the show now. The biggest problem they had with saying Christopher was innocent is the confession. But we can't say it's a confession, it's an alleged confession.
Exactly.
Right. And even on that notice, I was speaking with AL today. People may find this hard to believe, but this happens a lot. People write out
statements admitting to something that they didn't do. And there's many reasons why they do that. For one, if an individual is somewhat mentally challenged, if you've been interrogated for 12, 13, 15, 16 straight hours, and all you're hearing is that you did it, you did it, you did it, just clear your conscience. Well, sometimes we'll sit and phantom in our mind, could I have done this? Because they are so sure that I did it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't think that was the case with Christopher. I think someone else wrote that statement and had him to sign it.
Yeah, and like I said, like he said in when he was in court, he said that they wouldn't give him anything to drink, no food. They wouldn't let him make any phone calls to his lawyer, to family, or anything. So it was just like they just, wasn't gonna give him anything until he signed that confession.
This is sad, but sadly but true that it happens quite often.
Yeah,
You know,
I seen an article that they say over 10,000 people a year are wrongfully convicted of crimes that they didn't commit, and I'm sure that number is way higher than that. I'm sure it's way higher than 10,000.
exactly. And uh, if you're black, you're poor, not a lot of money, and you're in a courtroom. You have a public defender. Sometimes we would just accept whatever is given to us or take a chance and go to trial. Now, if we go to trial, one thing we know, with or without evidence, without adequate representation in a courtroom, it is extremely easy to convict someone of color.
Very, very easy. It's almost and like even like I said, since I started being an advocate for Chris Bynum, there's so many moms that then contacted me, emailed me, inboxed me, and they say they doing everything they can, but they saying the lawyers that they talk to want $80,000 and $90,000. And you talking about, you know, uh, they don't even have a house that much that costs that much. So so how can they come up with that kind of money to help their child or their family when they're in something like this? It's sad to know that if you don't have the money, you got to do the time.
That's it. Whoa, that's deep. That's it though. That's it. With or without evidence. When you was in the courtroom one day, tell us what Christopher said directly to you.
I was we all stood up and they was taking him out and we were all walking out and I made eye contact with him and he just looked at me and just said thank you. And I was like, whoa, I was just here to be hearing I was just here to try to, see what was going on. But it's almost like once that happened, I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to do any and everything I can to help. I couldn't just walk out of that courtroom and just be like, it's another day. Let me go head home and relax. I was like, man, let me start making some calls and trying to get people involved.
And you did, because and you contacted some powerful people, and they all are on board with what's going on with Christopher, because it was in hell. That's really that's an understatement, And I think when he said that to you, he saw you and see you as his lifeline.
Yeah, exactly. And I take on that and I will continue to do everything I can until he's released. I'm gonna keep pushing and keep pushing.
Do you think that the person that committed the crime, do you think they're in jail or out?
I really don't know, but I believe they probably had been in jail, might be out. I'm not 100% sure about that, but that person is still alive. I know that, but I'm not sure if they're in jail or what.
You told me earlier about the
police department down there, and with Joseph, what is it, Tidwell?
Yes.
Tell me about the police station and those individuals.
Well, Joseph Tidwell he's the son of Joseph Tidwell Jr. He's the son of a Gary police officer. And he is the one that DNA was found on one of the bodies. But they were saying, and that's the reason why they said the cover up was made, because they knew whose son it was, and they was covering it up. That's basically what Professor Watson was saying in the courtroom. And you can read all that on the articles through the Chicago Tribune. It talks about it as well. You can pull those articles up. They'll be on my page. I'll post everything on my page again, but it's on my page. I'm posting everything every day, pretty much. So it was a lot with that. They were saying that was one of the major cover-ups in the case.
So I think we've gotten to a point now to where if they didn't know then, which I believe they did, but hypothetically, benefit of doubt, if they didn't know then, they know now that an innocent man is sitting in prison.
Exactly. And they said from day one, so many of the people knew. And even they said in the trial, the first trial, when it happened, that Chris said, told the family, like, if y'all really care about y'all family, y'all would want the police to do their job and find the right person. Yeah.
Good evening, caller. You live on air. What's your name and what state are you calling from tonight?
Hey, it's Yvette again. I have a quick question.
Yes.
What made them focus on him in the first place?
Because they said that the 12-year-old kid said it was somebody in the house named Chris. And that was the reason. Excuse me?
In the house, the whose house?
What a murder of the first three victims were. It was a 12-year-old kid that didn't die. He was actually in one of the rooms, and they say they heard somebody say it was Chris, or he heard Chris' voice in the house. And that's how the police focused on Christopher Bynum.
Okay, this boy, this 10-year-old boy, a 12-year-old, did he know him? Previous, before I met him?
That I'm not sure if he knew him. I'm not 100% sure as that, but he ended up saying that the police told him to say that. Like when he got older and they talked to him, he said that the police told him to say that.
Mm.
Because I'm wondering, that makes sense. If he wasn't connected to the family and this little boy didn't know him, how did he know his voice? Who said Chris's name?
Exactly.
And that makes sense. It's not connecting. If something's not right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, of course, that's why you're doing this, but it's not right. Something's not right.
It's so much in this case that's not right that it's mind-boggling. I can't even wrap my head around it. It's just like there's so many wrongdoings in here. It's just bad.
Yeah, and the two women that were killed at the baseball field, how did they commit fraud to that?
Well, when they asked the detective in the court, he didn't know. And then they pulled out the police report with his signature on it saying that, and he couldn't remember. He said, oh, that was 20 years ago.
Wow.
Okay. I'm down again. Bye.
Bye-bye. I want to quickly, I know you can't see the comments now, but you will once this is finished. What some of the people are saying about you. Atkins says you are a God sent you, a human angel, to help save his life. Thank you for helping our brother. Uh, AL is saying bad deeds. Miss Jones says you have to call the Innocent Project, but you all are already working with them.
Yeah, we sent them information about the case and everything. It's just like everything else. It's so many cases and so many people that they can't take everything. Just like it was just a blessing that Brother Scott was able to get us on so quick, even though his hands is full.
You contacted the NAACP. Are they on board with you guys?
Yeah, President Mays, our local Gary branch, NAACP President Steve Mays is on board. They issued a letter also, and they I believe they sent the letter as well. So yeah, they definitely on whatever they can do to help. They talked to Professor Watson, and she sent them over information about the case and everything.
Okay. I know it's been 20 years, but the family, are they optimistic about their loved one coming home?
Well, I think they have been disappointed so many times, especially with keep rescheduling. Everybody is excited thinking, he's going to get out, and they reschedule it and reschedule it. It's been 20 years, not, and that's one thing, like the victims lost in this are it's the sad occasion, but we have to understand that on both sides lost, because if you have an innocent man sitting in prison for something that he didn't do, their family lost him. His kids, he didn't get to see his kids grow up. He wasn't able to go to his own mom's funeral. His sisters didn't get to see him. He's been out of their life for 20 years. So it's a losing situation on both sides, and we just have to be compassionate and think of each individual's families on both sides, and understand that no one wants anybody to be let out if they did something and we know they committed the crime. But if we know that it's a person that didn't commit the crime, the evidence showing it, we should all on both sides be trying to fight to get Chris out and get the right person that did this crime in jail.
And I applaud you for everything that you're doing. And it's not often that when someone is trying to help free someone whom they believe was wrongfully convicted, for them to come out and speak about what the other family might be going through and have sympathy for them, because we don't hear that often.
Well, and that's just me. Like I'm just a person that I care about everybody, and I can feel how the family could feel. In this case, they're thinking they got the right person, and for them to think that a person that did something this horrible to their family is getting out, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I always say, when I talk to people and we do interviews and they talk about it, hey, I have full respect and compassion for the families of the ones that lost their loved ones. I pray for them, and we just have to make sure that we pray for each side and pray that we get Chris out and get the right person.
Exactly. I totally agree with that. Tanya, Rush question to you is, have you contacted Kim Kardashian?
I did email her, and as far as I emailed her, and but no response. That's the only thing I did. I did email her and send her off all the information.
Okay.
So anybody that have any connections, that's what I've been like. Anybody who knows somebody, you willing to send them the information and try to get as much exposure before October 23rd. We want to let people know, let the courts know, let Indiana know, let Gary, Indiana know that, hey, we're watching this case and we want to make sure the right decision is made.
Exactly. Now, in Indiana, and if you don't want to answer this, you don't have to. The police department, are they known for being crooked?
Well, I think most police officers, police departments have an element of criminal activity in it.
Come on with it. Come on.
So I don't think we can get past that. It's just like anything else. There's good and bad people in everything. You know what I'm saying? So like all black people not criminals, all white people not racist. But all police departments have a criminal activities going on into the data police departments, and we got to look at that and not be like, hey, just turn the other cheek and say, hey, they ain't doing nothing, they protecting and serving. No, a lot of them protecting and serving, but a lot of them not protecting and serving.
Exactly.
So one thing I want to say about the Gary Police Department, the police that I know, that I grew up with, that's families and friends, are excellent police officers. But it's always somebody. It's always that one. What they say, one bad apple.
That's a true statement there. What about after his release? Do you know whether or not if you and the family or someone plan to file a lawsuit against the system?
Well, I'm sure right now the state of Indiana, that's another situation too that will occur after that ruling is made, and I'm sure that the family. I haven't talked to them about that. My only thing in here is to help get Chris free, and whatever happens from there is between his lawyer and the family. And my thing is when he come out, just get a brother a hug and help him get back on his feet and get with his family.
Amen. Before we get out of here tonight, if you will, the information you gave out earlier about the online petition and other things that y'all have going out, give us all that again before we get ready to get out of here, so we can get you all as much help as.
Well, hey, please, I would just tell people to, if you want, you can Google Chris Bynum, or you can just go to my Facebook page or go to our brother Scott page. All the information will be on there for you to get the links to the petition, to all the articles from the newspapers, from the Chicago Tribune, the Indianapolis Times, the Times in Hammond. So all those articles you could be able to see, and also SoundCloud, where I did an interview with my brother Vince Bailey in Atlanta. So we just been trying to reach out to everybody to get this case out to the public. So please just go to my page, Markael Watkins. You'll find me. That's it, Markael Watkins, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and all the information will be right there.
Okay. Now, I know you said this earlier, but I want to just get you to speak on it again before we go. This was not a thing to where you wanted to just start doing this for life, right?
No, it was just actually, a friend, being a friend of the family, and they asked me to come to the hearing, and I said, okay, I'll come. And once I came, and I started, being an advocate for Chris and getting people involved. I have 5 people who have sent me information about their kid being locked up and they need help. And I just like, whoa, I got to try to get this one done first before I can go and jump into another case. But this was nothing that I ever planned on doing. But, I'm always helping somebody. So anything I can do to help somebody, I'm going to do it.
Brother, you are indeed an angel, a lifeline, a God-sent we just need more men like you to step up and do what you're doing. I thank you for coming on this evening. Will you please come back on and keep us up to date as to what's going on with this case?
I definitely will. I can't stay in contact with you, Melissa, and anything that happens prior to October 23rd, I will let you know. And then October 23rd, I hope we'll be on here with a victory celebration for our brother Christopher Bynum.
Amen. To God be the glory. It's been a pleasure, my brother. I love you big time. And tell Christopher we have joined forces with you guys to help get him out of there.
All right, I appreciate you, and keep doing what you're doing. And anytime you need me, man, if I can do anything on my end to help you, I'm definitely on board.
I appreciate you, bro. Love you big time.
All right, love you too.
All right, as always, before we get out of here, I'm not always right, and you are not always wrong. Sign the petition. Sign